The Avengers bringing all those people back was a stupid decision. What do you mean? Bruce is bringing billions of people and creatures back to life. People get to see their loved ones again. That sounds great. However, when you look at the bigger picture, you see a humanitarian and logistical nightmare. What they are doing is bringing back a bunch of people and creatures into a world that cannot accommodate them. Before we talk about the Hulk snap, we need to go back to the original snap, the one made by Thanos. The Infinity War started and ended in 2018. In the end, Thanos won. In seconds, half the universe was erased from existence. This brings us to planet Earth. Before the war, the Earth had a population of 7.6 billion people, which means the Earth was left with 3.8 billion afterwards. Keep in mind that the world in 2018 was built for and to be sustained by 7.6 billion people. Everything would collapse immediately. Infrastructure, power grids, and water plants would shut down from lack of maintenance. Transportation, planes would be falling out of the sky. Trucks and cars would be crashing. Healthcare, people wouldn't be getting their treatment. Supply chains, not enough workers to produce and transport needs. Trade would shut down. Ecosystems, because of half the animal life disappeared.
Lila? Honey?
Animals would become endangered and some extinct. Fragile habitats would fail to adjust to these changes. There would be a food shortage because of half the animals going extinct. Billions died on the first day, but millions would later end up dying. Riots, accidents, murders, lack of medical needs, new wars, and famines. Countries would fall apart. Some of the richer countries like the US and China could get themselves running again and start working on their problems. They would reestablish order, get their infrastructure working, and provide aid to its citizens. They would take in mass amounts of immigrants to soften the economic impact. Other countries that were struggling before the snap would be in a state of anarchy. The upcoming years would be the remaining governments fixing the world, propping up new governments, fixing the economy, pushing reforms, allocating resources. They would be creating a new system that would fit 3.8 billion people. 5 years in, Endgame happens. 5 years later, they discover time travel. With it, they bring the stones to the present, they put all 6 stones on a gauntlet, and Hulk volunteers to bring everybody back. Again, this sounds beneficial, but do you remember when I said that the new world would be creating a system that would support 3 billion? Now those same governments are going to have to deal with 3.8 billion reappearing out of the blue. And apparently the Avengers did not tell the world about this. Couldn't they just tell them, hey, we're planning on bringing those people back, so if we succeed, prepare yourself? But no, they didn't do that. What are they going to even do with all these new people? Not only do they have to reintegrate them into society, but they have to keep them alive, house them, supply them, make sure they don't kill each other or themselves. Imagine being one of the people that came back. You see yourself turn to dust, then reappear into a society that moved on from you, and then you're a starving refugee because the humanitarian aid cannot keep up with 3.8 billion people. Also, the people that died after the snap, yeah, they're not coming back, just the ones that vanished. The world would pretty much start all over in the healing process. Also, this is just Earth we're talking about. This same thing happened to every planet in the whole universe. We don't see too much of this healing process later in the movies. The only 2 MCU projects that covered this were like Far From Home and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And Far From Home, it seemed like everything went back to normal. They didn't really get too deep into the snap besides a stupid class video, while Falcon showed a little bit more of the impact with governments trying to house these refugees. And then Sam Wilson tries to talk down to these politicians that have to handle this massive task that he threw onto them.
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up.
They kinda can't do better. You and the Avengers kind of threw this onto them. Like, you didn't even tell them or anything. The Avengers didn't give them a heads up. Like, what are they supposed to do? This is on you and the Avengers. I mean, maybe except you because you dusted and were gone, so you didn't have much of a say. But the Avengers are very guilty. Other than that, it seems Marvel kind of moved on and forgot about this, and now they're dealing with, like, multiverse stuff. Without a doubt, the Avengers dealt with this in the worst way possible. They didn't think much about the ramifications. As a matter of fact, they were pretty selfish during the whole process. The disappearance of Clint Barton's family was used as reference, an example of why those people should be brought back. But he and his family can adjust to this. He's an Avenger. He worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. and has billionaire friends. Everyone else doesn't have that luxury. The Avengers are kind of out of touch with society. So what should the Avengers have done? Out of all the options, I've come up with 2 of them that are the best 2 options. The first option, don't let the world continue as it is. Let the system rebuild itself, and eventually they'll be able to move on from this. Look at the bubonic plague. 1/3 of Europe was killed, but they were able to recover. This does mean that all those people that got snapped away, they don't come back, and Thanos wins. It's a more depressing option, but it is the safest. The second option is a lot brighter, and is also the smartest one. Make it so the snap never happened. Remember, Hulk has all 6 Infinity Stones. He can do whatever he wants. He can alter reality, reverse time, bring people back from the dead. Here's what he should have done. When he puts the makeshift gauntlet on and yields all that power, he should have altered the events of the Infinity War and make Thor kill Thanos before he can snap his fingers. This would have probably killed Hulk, considering that he was struggling with bringing half the population back. But this does mean a better world. Think about it. No snap means everything continues as normal. Nobody disappears. The final act of Endgame would never happen, so Iron Man lives. Time travel wouldn't be discovered, so Steve never goes back in time. Natasha wouldn't sacrifice herself. Thor never falls into depression. Ant-Man sees his daughter grow up. Hawkeye never becomes Ronin, and the Guardians wouldn't disappear. There are some issues. First, it would kill Hulk, and a dead Hulk with Infinity Stones would appear in this alternate timeline. So the Avengers would stumble on a dead body of the Hulk and now have to deal with the fact that the Infinity Stones have doubled. Gamora would stay dead, so there's that. The Sokovia Accords would still be an issue, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to what happened. Other than that, it's a much better option. So why didn't they do this? Because of Tony Stark's daughter, Morgan. During the 5 years, he retired and started a family. If the Hulk were to go with the second option, then he would end up erasing Morgan and anybody who was born during the blip. So he wanted to keep Stark's life intact and bring them all back at the same time. But here's the thing though, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. I can understand him wanting his daughter to stay, but this was the worst way to go about this. Hulk can do whatever he wants. He can figure out a way to keep Morgan alive and have Thanos lose. Even if he didn't keep Morgan alive, the universe would still be better. Stark would more than likely still have a kid with Pepper. However, what's done is done. The whole ordeal could have been handled much better. Bringing them back the way they did sounds good, and it did benefit a lot of people. But when you look at the bigger picture, it caused way more harm than good. The best decision was to either not bring them back at all, or to just alter the events of Infinity War. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was the best decision, and those governments just came in at a clutch. I mean, it is a fictional world. Thank you so much for watching. If you could do anything different with the Infinity Stones, or maybe you thought they made the right choice, let me know down in the comments. But for now, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys later.